Our system encourages mediocrity and safe play.
Dr. Ray, how do you see sustainability in our daily lives?
The moment you go to decentralized energy systems, and today we can make diesel in a farmer's field, a biodiesel, using the product of his own field. A very interesting project was done by my team. So, we flew a plane on biojet fuel, which is a spice jet turboprop. मैं उस जेट में इसीलिए बैठा कि मेरी टीम ने फ्यूल बनाई और मैं नहीं बैठूंगा तो लोगों को तो शक रहेगा. So there are two simple rules. Don't take more from the planet than she can afford to give you. The second is the output rule. Don't dump more on the planet than she can absorb. Similarly, when I say in biofuels that every community can make its own biodiesel, people react saying, today we use diesel, what will happen to our machines? When we cut down trees to build a highway, is that a bad thing?
न्यूज़ ट्रस्ट ऑफ इंडिया की ओर से मैं शिफाली आपका स्वागत करती हूँ चेंज मेकर्स के सीरीज़ में. चेंज मेकर्स के सीरीज़ में हम अक्सर बात करते हैं किसी एक खास शख्सियत से, जानते हैं उनके बारे में, वो क्या सोचते हैं बहुत सारी चीज़ों के बारे में, उनके एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में. तो आज हैं मेरे साथ डॉक्टर अंजन रे. इंजीनियरिंग किए हुए हैं, बहुत सारी तरह के आर्ट में, साइंस में इनका हस्तक्षेप है, रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी, सस्टेनेबिलिटी. जब आप इनका नाम टाइप करते हैं गूगल पे तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें निकल के आती हैं, लेकिन वो नहीं निकल के आएगा जो इस कॉन्वर्सेशन से निकल के आएगा अभी. तो डॉक्टर रे, स्वागत है आपका इस एपिसोड में.
नमस्कार.
नमस्कार सर. तो हम शुरू करते हैं आपको जानना आपके बचपन से. सो हाउ हैज योर चाइल्डहुड डेज have created a consciousness about environment?
I was very, very lucky, very privileged to grow up in India in the 1960s, 70s, went to college in the late 70s. India was the kind of place in those days where we looked at the next person as Indian and we looked at our neighbors as neighbors. We did not filter them through any lens. We had no idea of what their caste was, and mostly we had no idea of what their religion was, except, of course, we knew that certain religions had the best feasts.
And how would you like to describe about your journalistic background, your engineering background, how all of these happened in your life?
Things, I don't think we start out by wishing things to happen. Some of it is probably conscious in the choices we don't make. Like, for example, I wanted to be a rock musician. My father convinced me that it was easier to do music as a hobby and science as a career. The reverse would be more difficult.
Okay.
Very good logical argument. I bought it. So I went to science, engineering, did a PhD, and I could continue music, journalism, media on the side. So that was a conscious choice. But all the things that I tried during my career were more, the opportunity came, mauka mila, to kar liye. Whether it was writing for corporate films or researching ghosts in the field or doing dialogues for a Bollywood movie based on a Ruskin-Bond novel, or going off on a solo trek along the Narmada for 2 weeks and living in the forest eating fruit from trees. None of this was pre-planned.
एक तरफ आप डेवलपमेंट की बात कर रहे हो, बहुत सारे लोन्स फ्लोट हो रहे हैं कि आपके यहाँ बसेस होनी चाहिए, आपके यहाँ मल्टीपल लेन सड़कें होनी चाहिए, बड़ी बड़ी बिल्डिंग्स होनी चाहिए, और दूसरी तरफ एसडीजी में आप क्लाइमेट चेंज पे भी बात कर रहे हो, उसके भी गोल्स हैं. तो ये दोनों चीज़ें एक साथ कैसे चल सकती हैं? किस तरह से ये बैलेंस मेंटेन हो सकता है आपके हिसाब से?
आपने एसडीजी का जिक्र किया. SDGs are the core of this balance. There are 17 SDGs, and the most important one in my mind is responsible production and consumption. इसको मैं सरल तरीके से समझाता हूँ. The easiest way to understand this in the context of environment, sustainability, climate change is this particular SDG. Let us assume that we consume more than we need. I buy a shirt that I don't need. The moment I buy that shirt, I have caused a machine to run in some farmer's field to grow cotton, and in some factory to make polyester if it is a blend. Machines have run, we call them trucks, to move materials. Machines have run, we call them trains, to move the coal or the oil, and tankers have traveled to get the energy for these things. And every time a machine runs, no machine is 100% efficient. So the energy put into a machine and the work we get out of a machine are not equal. The gap between the energy and the work is called the efficiency of the machine. And the lower the efficiency of the machine, the more the machine contributes to climate change. Now I assume I have bought something I don't want. I've immediately made so many machines run, and every machine contributes to climate change. So I have contributed to climate change. I won't buy anything unless I'm throwing away something. I don't even use a lift going downstairs if I can help it. I prefer to walk down because a lift going up consumes electricity. And electricity, for every unit of electricity, we produce roughly 1 kg of carbon dioxide. For every liter of petrol or diesel that we burn, we produce roughly 2.5 kgs of carbon dioxide.
So we are a carbon dioxide rich nation.
We are a carbon dioxide generating nation. We are probably better on a per capita basis than many countries in the world who have wasteful habits, but we are picking up their wasteful habits. We are, compared to my childhood, whereas we started this conversation, we have picked up the entire use and throw behavior. We were a sustainable community. In my childhood, I don't remember having any burtan, any vessel, anything to eat from, anything to use that we just used once and threw. So there are 2 simple rules. These were articulated by an Egyptian librarian called Ismail Serageldin in the 1990s. The first rule is the input rule. Don't take more from the planet than she can afford to give you.
Okay.
The second is the output rule. Don't dump more on the planet than she can absorb. If everybody remembered these 2 rules, things are sustainable.
And my next question is sustainability, renewable energy, and best out of waste. These 3 words or terms are very vaguely used in last 10 years. How do you see sustainability in our daily lives, and why people are not very comfortable with the term renewable energy? And third thing is why best out of waste is always used as a very fancy term.
Okay, I think the core goes back to the way we persuade people that having material goods is success. Everywhere you see, you're being persuaded to buy. You buy goods, you buy services, you buy experiences. You are being inundated, whether it's on your phone or whether it's in your newspaper or whether it's in the hoardings. You are being told that you are not successful unless you spend money to acquire something. The problem is when you spend money, you will make machines run. Right? So the core of simplicity, which leads to sustainability, has been replaced by the core of showing off and commerce. And it is not that the 2 are exclusive. You can have goods provided you have what you need. Right? You want to decorate your home, you decorate your home. But don't keep 50 things that you're never going to put up, which will sit in storage. You want to wear something nice, wear something nice. But don't have 200 outfits, of which you will wear only 195 once for an occasion. And then you're not going to wear it again because what if somebody sees you wearing the same thing twice? Right?
Yeah.
So those are the limitations on sustainability. Now we get to your second question. Why are people uncomfortable with renewable energy? It is because the world still subsidizes fossil fuels. And this is a dirty secret. Most fossil fuel producers get some sort of incentive, whether it is an oil refinery, a coal mine, a natural gas pipeline. Everybody gets government support because we have got into the habit of large-scale centralized energy systems. The moment you go to decentralized energy systems, and today with the kind of work my team has done in Dehradun, we can make diesel in a farmer's field, a biodiesel, using the product of his own field in Kashipur. This is the third season running now. We're using a mustard type of crop called Brassica carinata. Farmers are producing their own oil, converting the oil to biodiesel and running their own tractor on the biodiesel. So even the diesel that is wasted in going and coming to the diesel pump, to the petrol pump, even that much diesel is saved.
हमने कई बार स्लोगन सुना है, जय जवान जय किसान। आपने एनर्जी को जवान के लिए भी यूज किया और किसान के लिए भी यूज किया, लेकिन इन दोनों तक पहुंचने के लिए और बायोफ्यूल का जो रास्ता लिया, क्या वो आसान था या उसमें चैलेंजेस थे? क्या वो एक्सेप्टेबल था? सबसे बड़ी बात।
देखिए, ये रास्ता तो मैंने अकेला लिया नहीं। बायोफ्यूल्स की बात इंडिया में 1978 से चालू हुई और 1978 में इंडिया ने पहली बारी पेट्रोल में एथेनॉल डाल के ट्राई किया। उसको गैसोहॉल बोलते थे उन दिनों। और तब देश के आमतौर लोग खेती में जो है, मतलब खेती से रसायन उत्पादन करने की सोच थी नहीं, तो यह आगे बढ़ नहीं पाई। परंतु उसी टाइम 1980 में भारत ने पहली बारी एक डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ नॉन कन्वेंशनल एनर्जी सोर्सेज का एक डिपार्टमेंट बनाया जी। और कुछ साल में पूरी मिनिस्ट्री बन गई, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ न्यू एंड रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी। इंडिया वाज वन ऑफ द फर्स्ट इन द वर्ल्ड टू हैव अ मिनिस्ट्री लाइक दैट। ओके, पर मुश्किल क्या थी? 1981 में व्हेन आई वाज स्टार्टिंग आउट एज अ ट्रेनी जर्नलिस्ट विद आकाशवाणी, the Indian Council of Ministers had only 19 ministers. Today we have over 70 because of coalition politics. So decision making was very easy back then. It has become very complex now. If something looked like it was good for the country, 19 people had to decide. Now 70 people have a voice, plus the entire social media, the public media. Even if you want to get something done, the public can create opinions for and against a view. Whether it is good for the country or the environment or not is less important than whether it is good for a particular interest group that has a loud voice. So we see this, we talk about environmental rules, and then we also say, but development must take precedence over environment. A very interesting project was done by my team along with the Energy and Resources Institute, TERI, and the Central Road Research Institute and another NGO called IORA some years ago, where we started asking the question, when we cut down trees to build a highway, is that a bad thing? You see a lot of environmental noise around this. But the question is, you also improve the efficiency of the car. There is much less pollution on a highway than on a stop and start road. There is much more productivity for the country if trucks can run freely. Much fewer diesel will be consumed, that diesel will save something. So an actual study was done which showed that there are some basic rules and that a highway can be used to build in forested or tree-borne areas, provided the benefit from the highway exceeds the impact of the trees cut, and the mathematical logic of that became very clear. Similarly, when I say in biofuels that every community can make its own biodiesel, people react saying, but today we use diesel, what will happen to our machines? The answer is there were no diesel machines before 1915. Okay. Right? There were no large-scale diesel machines because refining, as we know, started in 1914. So 1915, pehle, anyway, there were no diesel vehicles. Anyway, before the 1930s, there were no jet airplanes. So everything evolves. If today we have biofuels, engines will evolve. If tomorrow I have green hydrogen or I have green DME, machines will evolve. The question is, can we do the right thing for the environment and use that to push the evolution of things that are good for mankind and the planet?
So you must have experienced this कि जब हम किसी को कुछ समझाते हैं तो उसके दो वेज होते हैं, एक रैशनल, एक इमोशनल, एंड देन देयर इज अ लॉजिक ऑफ डिजायर टू चेंज एंड डिजायर टू एक्ट. In the case of farmers, what was the trigger?
See, we have always seen farmers as being the most intelligent people in this country because they are the ones who have to figure out कि कल खाने को मिलेगा या नहीं. कल पैसा आएगा या नहीं, कल बच्चे स्कूल जा पाएंगे या नहीं. But their horizons are very short.
Yeah.
Because they cannot understand that if I do this today, what will happen to me in 5 years. That is why very few farmers plant teak wood or anjeer ke ped, and most farmers grow rice. Right? I feel that when we talk to farmers, or in fact to rural folk, if we are able to show them a better life in the short term and a much better life in the longer term, they are usually okay. But if we show them a worse life in the short term with a better life in the longer term, they don't embrace it. So, we flew a plane on biojet fuel. In 2018, we flew it from Dehradun to Delhi. It was a SpiceJet turboprop. And for this plane, the fuel was made with oils from a particular tree called Ratanjot. And this Ratanjot came from 500 plus tribals in Chhattisgarh from the Pendra Anupur area.
ये वही रतनजोत है जिससे हलवाई सब्जियां लाल करते हैं?
कुछ हाँ, उसके काफी सारे द्रव्य गुण हैं. It has many properties, including some medicinal properties, some dye properties, etc. But it gives a very rich oil, which can be converted to biodiesel or jet fuel. And this was, at least for Chhattisgarh, which has a Biofuel Development Authority, a state agency, which has committed to this for the last 25 years. It is one of the best success stories in the country.
If I may request you to recall, कैसा लगा था जब वो जेट ऊपर उड़ा था?
It was unique. हमें तो यकीन था, बिकॉज मैं उस जेट में इसीलिए बैठा कि मेरी टीम ने फ्यूल बनाई और मैं नहीं बैठूंगा तो लोगों को तो शक रहेगा. और जिस दिन फ्लाइट हुई उसके पिछले दिन, द डे बिफोर द फ्लाइट, द प्लेन एक्चुअली डिड अ सॉर्टी. सो इट डिड अ टेस्ट फ्लाइट. It flew out from Dehradun, went up to Saharanpur, cycled around, came back to Dehradun. And the Deputy Director of the Director General of Civil Aviation, he was in the cockpit because he wanted to see for himself कि ये fuel क्या करता है. And it performed better than the normal jet fuel, which was in one engine. In the second engine, it was not 100% of the biofuel. It was 75% normal fuel, 25% biofuel. But this engine still did slightly better because पेड़ से बना fuel is relatively pure. Crude oil se bana fuel is relatively crude.
Yeah. So that was a pilot testing.
That was the pilot testing.
Is it continuing somewhere?
It is continuing. The Indian Air Force took this up because the Indian Air Force wanted to use domestic resources to secure its fuel supply. And it has run more than 70 flights in the last 7-8 years. Probably usse zyada ho chuke honge by now because I left the institute when I retired 2 years ago. And a large plant is coming up in Mangalore, which will supply not only the Indian Air Force, but maybe commercial airlines also. That plant should be operational by 2027.
एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग चीज मैंने पढ़ी कि आप एक कार भी चलाते थे.
Yes. So
देहरादून कैंपस
Dehradun campus में there is a brilliant young engineer from Manipur. His name was Robindro. Still there. So Dr. Robindro ने ये देखा कि जो पुरानी गाड़ियां हैं, the end of life cars, they are scrapped. Now let me apply climate logic to this. When I want to scrap a car, the car will be picked up and taken to a junkyard. You can't drive it there if it is scrap. So some lorry will take it. You're spending fuel. From the junkyard, some other lorry will take it to a scrapyard. In the scrapyard, people will break it up into parts. It will use a hammer, it will use some machine. That is also energy. Then it will be melted. आप सोचिए आयरन को पिघलने में कितना एनर्जी जाएगा. Then it will be refabricated. So Dr. Robindro's idea was कि हम सिर्फ गाड़ी को इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल क्यों नहीं बना देते. Then it is no longer polluting, so it should no longer be scrapped. Scrapping हो रहा है because the engine is polluting. तो engine ही निकाल दो. तो उन्होंने engine निकाल दिया. And then I was director of the institute. So in discussions, we said that the car has to operate like a normal car. So we must balance the weight of the car. So engine निकाल के वहाँ मोटर डाले और जहाँ पीछे जो आपका डिक्की का एरिया है वहाँ पे हमने बैटरीज डाले and the car became balanced. Center of gravity वही रहा. It was good engineering. It was not guesswork. Induction motor डाल के then he said कि सर बना ही रहे हैं आप ही चलाओ ना. So I drove the car. Then we made 2 more. So that was the first car. 2 more cars were made after that. So if in this country, instead of scrapping cars, we convert end-of-life vehicles to e-vehicles, think of how many jobs we create. Because all the mechanics will have new jobs converting cars. Maybe we will produce fewer cars, but remember, production of cars has a higher carbon footprint than retrofitting a car.
अच्छा, अक्सर जब हम कुछ नया सोचते हैं या कुछ बहुत दूर का सोचते हैं, जिसका शॉर्ट टर्म कुछ रिजल्ट दिखता नहीं है, तो वो शेयर करने में जितना हेजिटेशन होता है, उससे ज़्यादा लोगों की एक्सेप्टेबिलिटी का इशू होता है और लगता है कि कोई हँसेगा तो नहीं, कोई विश्वास नहीं करेगा या कोई बड़े वियर्ड से कमेंट्स आते हैं। कभी आपके साथ ऐसा हुआ कि आपने कोई इनोवेशन की बात की और बहुत वियर्ड से कमेंट्स आए हों और वहाँ से भी इंस्पिरेशन मिला हो?
ये तो स्वाभाविक होता है. See, there is a saying, I forget who, but somebody fairly famous had said this, that whenever a new product idea is placed before the public, the first common reaction is it won't work. After a few years, when it's working, they will say it works, but it will never make money. After 20 years, when it's working and making an enormous amount of money, they're like, what's new? It's been around for 20 years. यही होता है.
जी.
Right? The first thing I learned was that all criticism is a blessing. क्योंकि बहुत बारी criticism genuine भी होता है. And वो criticism को हम सिर्फ feedback समझ के हमें तय करना है कि कितना feedback हमें लेना है और कितना feedback हमें छोड़ के आगे कुछ करना है.
जी.
So criticism is like मैं ट्रैकिंग करूं, जब तक मेरा टांग नहीं टूटा था, कुछ साल पहले मैं ट्रैकिंग में बहुत शौक था. ट्रैकिंग करूं तो सारा रास्ता आपको समान नहीं मिलेगा. उबड़ खाबड़ मिलने वाला है. उबड़ खाबड़ से ही सशक्ति होती है और उबड़ खाबड़ से ही सीख मिलती है. पहाड़ों के कोने में, गुफाओं में, जहां पे पेड़ों के घने जंगलों में क्या छिपा है आपको नहीं मालूम, वो अनजाना ही एडवेंचर है.
एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन ये कि आपने अपनी स्टडीज देखी, इतने साल आपने एक्सपीरियंस किया बहुत तरह से, ये जो एकेडमिक सिनेरियो है, ये जो हमारा पूरा देश का कैनवास है, इसमें कुछ बहुत अच्छे चेंजेस हुए हैं और कुछ चैलेंजेस अभी भी हैं, वो क्या है?
मैं ये कहूँगा कि भारत की जो एकेडमिक एनवायरनमेंट काफ़ी अच्छी है, परंतु जो ट्रांसलेशनल रिसर्च है एकेडमिक एनवायरनमेंट से उसको वाणिज्य में ले जाने की जो आदत पहले यूएस, फिर जर्मनी, फिर इजराइल, अब चीन ने कर लिया है, वो हम ठीक तरीके से कर नहीं पा रहे हैं. और इसका कारण यह है कि the triggers for academic success in this country, you get your promotions based on how many papers you have published. You don't get your promotions based on how many products you have commercialized.
Yes.
You are rewarded on the same increment, more or less, whether you're the hardest working, most brilliant professor or the most casual professor. You get more or less the same time-bound promotions. So our system encourages mediocrity and safe play. Our system does not encourage adventure and risk-taking in the academic environment. वो भी बदल रहा है now with almost all colleges getting incubators to start companies, with a very strong ecosystem for funding startups, with the government having created now the National Innovation Anusandhan National Research Foundation, जहाँ पे 5 साल में प्राइवेट सेक्टर को शामिल करके कुछ 50,000 करोड़ रुपए आ जाएंगे. और इस साल जो है रिसर्च और टीचिंग बजट लगभग 8,000 करोड़ से बढ़ाकर 20,000 करोड़ कर दिया गया है. So these are good signs.
So my closing question is, what is your philosophy of life?
I don't have so much of a philosophy, उतना नहीं सोचता हूँ. But I think that a very core belief that I have is that we will take nothing with us. So whatever we leave behind, we should try to leave behind something that makes the world a little better. Whether it is a physical thing or an abstract thing or something through one's students and the people one influences, जितना हम छोड़ सकते हैं वो ज़्यादा अच्छा है, इतना नहीं कि जितना हम ले सकते हैं. Yes, that is it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ray. It was a pleasure talking to you.